Baby, let me take you for a ride. It's crazy that we on the same vibe. I really wanna try to stay on the same side. So can you stay tonight just so we do it right? Yeah.
Adrian, yeah, as usual, as it seems to be these days, is that it's just you and me. We've just been...
We're on night shift.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like... I don't know what it is. I know there's a few people that have reached out for guests. We're going to get to guests if you want to be a guest. I've talked to a bunch of people. They want to be a guest. I haven't scheduled anything. Just honestly not trying, to be honest.
Well,
like it's just been hard.
It's hard to schedule with us being on night shift because, like, you know, we wanted to get one done today and it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's also it's summertime. Like for us, like this is our busy season for our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just we've been a little hyper focused. But that's good. We should be, you know, and I'm proud of that. And you know, but that's the beauty also of this podcast. Not to just give it, you know, a little shout out, but like, you know, this is what we do. You know,
Yeah,
it's
if
like
I'm
it's
focused
a
on
you and
work.
it's
I
a
can't
you.
be focused on my career as a podcaster.
No, but I'm just saying, like it's cool about this podcast that you and I can just come down here and do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't always have to have a guest, but we do want guests. We're going to have more guests. If you're looking forward to guests, we're coming. So, but I wanted to start out. So last night I was just going through my phone before I went to bed, and I got one of those Temu ads. Have you seen Temu ads?
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of Temu ads you get, but I got a sawmill.
A sawmill.
A sawmill. Yeah, like a full sawmill. Like, do you know what a sawmill is?
Mm-hmm.
Like that takes a log, that takes a tree and turns it into lumber. You can buy a sawmill on
You can
Temu.
buy a lot of stuff on Temu. Temu is just like basically a website that more or less gets you in contact with these factories
Yeah.
in China. It's not a traditional like marketplace where they stock this shit. So like, yeah, if there's a factory out there making whole ass sawmills,
Yeah.
even if it's for like commercial use, they'll put their shit up on Temu.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, Amazon they sell some crazy stuff. Like
So does
stuff that
Walmart,
you
for that
wouldn't-
matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Doesn't Walmart sell Coyote 5.0?
Yeah, you can get a Coyote 5.0 crate engine for 10 grand on Walmart.
Fuck yeah. All right, so maybe it's not as outlandish as I thought, but I don't know. Like when you're just like kind of doom scrolling and you just get hit with a fucking... Dude, you get hit with a sawmill? Have you seen a sawmill? Dude, Google a picture of a sawmill just to put that in perspective because sawmills are so big. So to be able to order one of these online is just like, it's preposterous, dude.
Something like that?
Yes. Dude, it's insane. I mean, that, like, here, I'm going to put that up. That's a sawmill. Like, you can just get one of these on, I mean, it was bigger than that one. It was like, it was orange. Yeah, it was more like that is the one that I saw. Like, bro, that's preposterous. For them to, like, mail that to you, I don't know. It just...
Yeah, you're paying freight and you're not going to see it for 4 months.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. You'd be surprised, right?
No, Temu is always like you order something and you get it like a month later.
Is it bad?
Well,
Yeah.
it's because it's ordering directly from this factory, and because it's not stocked, they have to make it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming they also make them in batches. You're not just going to fire up the whole factory for one product.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for it to be manufactured in a batch and then
Yeah.
sent to you
Yeah.
from China.
Yeah, from China. But I don't know. But either way, I mean, to me, I was just like, you just buy this online. What a world. What a world we're living in. But hey, so speaking of businesses and overseas, I think I don't know where Recaro is. So Recaro seats.
Mm-hmm.
So Recaro makes racing seats, and you may have seen it
Steering wheels.
steering wheels. You may have seen it even at Target. They make little baby strollers and car seats. You know, because they make seats. So you and I were talking about Recaro. Okay, yeah. So
Germany.
it is in Germany. Yeah. So.
That sounds almost like an Italian name to me or something.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it does. You're right. So I started looking into that because you and I were talking about the
bankruptcy.
Yeah, Recaro potentially going into bankruptcy, but apparently it was not that. So what happened was there was a sister company that was a part of Recaro that did file bankruptcy and was leaving the company.
Which part?
I'm not positive. To be honest, I forget which partner company. But the good news, and the reason I wanted to bring that up was just because it was, you know, I was looking to buy a racing seat for my car, and I was hoping to look for some deals. I didn't see any deals at all. Recaro seats are very expensive. So, yeah, and then I was like, well, are they going into bankruptcy? Like, should I hold out? And then apparently they actually haven't gone into bankruptcy, and the company is totally fine. Nothing's changing. It's just, something like that happens, and then somebody's like, oh my God, they're going to go away, It's like kind of like an atypical thing. But I mean, and I don't even want to like give them shit because like, they're just giving something to the news. They don't know. Because like for some companies, I mean, Recaro was obviously a big company, but you never know. I mean, that something like that could tank a company to where it changes like the whole trajectory for sure. So
I think they've filed for bankruptcy in the past before as well.
Really?
And they're still around, maybe.
Oh, but that says recent bankruptcy announcement.
This is from a week ago.
Damn. Maybe I'm wrong.
The company encountered significant financial difficulties due to extreme price increases in recent crisis years and the loss of a major contract. The effects of legacy products and business operations impacted the development of new product offerings during a regional reduction in vehicle purchase spending.
Yeah, so I think that's what it was. Is that like they lost that. That's what I read. Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I'm spreading the wrong information, but
Misinformation on you. The UK will come for you.
yeah, the UK is coming. UK
We'll
is
talk
coming.
about that later.
Yeah, let's bring that up. Yeah, we'll segue back to that. But the way I understood it is that they just lost a sister company, but that sister company may have been
The part that makes the seats.
yeah, a major part of it, And back to like our work world, like just like Data Air, So like if anyone who's listening and does HVAC and does crack units for data room equipment, Data Air was a company that was successful for many years. Started out in California, and then they just lost all of their manufacturing because
considering the Data Air units we work on, it's a wonder they lasted that long.
I know, and it's so sour to get. Because we've only had a couple, so like those kind of things do happen.
Yeah, and almost every single one we've had has had, to some extent, some issues.
Yeah, I know, but like it sucks because like when we started out doing Stults, we started up so many, we had so many problems, it took us like a few years to really work all the kinks out of all of these units, and because each one is like fit for different conditions and the buildings aren't quite the same in all the areas and like the heat loads and all that. So, the units have potential is all I'm saying is that and so it sucks to only have like a handful that we get to, have our opinion be striked from. Cause like, I feel like Data Air, with them being a long-standing company, cause I think they started out in like 2007, I think that's like equal to like what Stults has been around for. So I mean,
Stults was around for longer.
It might have been, but like still, like Data Air has been around for a while, long enough. But it took a simple, business decision to like never make their own units in house.
Oh, they're not big enough to have a Wikipedia page.
Well, it's a crack unit. But yeah, so for their big issue, so Data Air's big issue was the fact that they never made their units in-house, and that they would subcontract that being made to another company, and then that company also made
Stults has a Wikipedia page. It's in German Wikipedia, but they do have it.
But they got that. They're on the map. Yeah, so so if they had just started making stuff in house, they would have been fine. But this company that was making stuff, they also made all other kinds of stuff as well. They didn't just make units for Stults; they made tons of stuff. So so for them, they were just like, look, we're not seeing profit in your side of the market, so we're done here. And they couldn't, find a way to pivot,
making products.
Yeah, to pivot and continue. So they died. R.I.P. It's a shame, but that was also an interesting story. Like as far as I know, and it's been almost a year now. I'm almost positive that company went down like with the ship. So generally speaking, especially with a company that does have a pretty outstanding record behind it, you know, as far as the company goes, they certainly had an opportunity or opportunities to have been bought, but they didn't get bought. They decided to like not opt to that, and they decided to just kill the name instead of like a larger company like Stultz or Liebert or Desert Air to come in and buy that company and like buy all the rights to their stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had trouble finding a buyer, because like you said, they didn't build their own shit. So what are you buying?
Yeah, but in the sense of like not filing bankruptcy and like being able to like sell at a price, and there had to have been a price. Because if you think about it, like it's not. I get it. Like if you are the owner of Stultz or Liebert, you're going to be buying a company that's kind of a train wreck. You know that there's going to be like a million units that like maybe you can't fix. Maybe you don't have a way of like redesigning or like figuring out. But like you have work, you have contracts now. Like now you have warranties,
Or you just
you can
come in behind Data Air and go, hey, they're dead, buy my shit, and you make money off of selling the equipment, not just maintaining.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, but if you don't have that, because you still have that option. Like you still have that option if you bought that company, because now you can say like, look, like as a company, we don't have a fix for this, and like now we take care of these units, and we'll fix these units. We're taking care of them, whatever. But like, hey, maybe you're better off buying one of our other units.
I don't know about that personally.
You don't think
because
so?
If I was a business
I know what you're
owner,
saying.
If
I
I was a
agree.
business owner and I had
Yeah.
a Data Air unit that is no longer supported, and for example, let's say Liebert bought out Data Air, and Liebert comes and goes, hey, we bought this and all that, but we can't support it. Yeah, like especially if I had a warranty or something on it still.
Exactly.
It's like,
and a lot of people
you
did.
you can't honor this. Okay, well if I'm replacing it, you're not getting my business then. That's fucking slimy. You swoop in here and say, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of you, but in order to do that, you have to buy more of my shit. It's like,
Yeah.
out of spite, I'm going to go to Stultz or something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like if you have a new unit, that's a harder sell. That's for sure. But if you have like an older unit and like you were still looking, because like that's what happened to APC. So APC used to make crack units. Like now they're more into making servers and like computer stuff. But APC itself used to make crack units. So when APC went under, Schneider Electric bought it. There might have been some wishy-washy history between it, but as it stands today, like if you call APC tech support, you get Schneider Electric, and it depending on where you live or if depending on
Well,
like,
was
the
APC already using any Schneider components?
No, none at all. They just because like, but Schneider does also do the same thing that APC does, and they were interested in getting into like the crack unit stuff. So I don't know how far that went.
Did APC have their own hardware?
What do you? Oh, like parts in that crack unit.
Like, yeah, if you bought APC, were you getting proprietary technology, software, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes.
Okay, that's why. They have assets that are worth something. Data Air is just it's a parts bin special, basically. So
Yeah,
you're
but
buying
no,
Data
but
Air
like the
and-
controller is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, no, but everything in the APC units is all like parts bin stuff. It's all, but like the controller is the only thing that's never not a parts bin thing. The brains of
And
of
the
that
controllers in Data Air are the same controllers that are in Stultz, just with a different skin.
Well, right. So,
So what I'm saying is you get nothing buying Data Air in this one particular case. They
Yeah,
have
you're right.
no assets that are
Yeah.
worth anything to you if you already have your own. Like, even if you are part spinning your own shit.
Yeah.
Because no one ever makes everything themselves.
Yeah.
The compressors are Copeland. The
Yeah.
the screens are
Right.
like, Adapt 4 from whatever brand makes that.
Mm-hmm.
If you already have that handled, why do you need someone else's? I mean, I get what you're saying about the whole, like, oh, well, you can, like, kind of slide in after them, but, like, you could also have an opportunity to just replace that shit outright with your own product from the ground up.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
I'm saying is
mean,
I'm not surprised that Data Air went under instead of being bought.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it feels like it's happened before, So like, it seems to be that there's like
I feel like
there's a
most
market
companies that
for
get
it.
bought out as they're, like, going under have assets that are worth something. That's
Yeah.
why these companies are buying it. If your company doesn't have any assets that are yours, no one's going to buy you.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I'm also very financially illiterate when it comes to anything high level like this, so I could be talking completely out my ass. But from my layman's perspective, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you could be right, and it's definitely a good point, and I feel like both things can be true, and like everything could be a situational thing where like maybe there's some fruit on this tree, but like is it worth it? Yeah, you're probably right, and that may have been the reason why, but I don't know. I mean, because like let's just like go for instance on like we won't say any names or like what, but like on the units that we have for data air, like. Our next step now is to just find things that we can retrofit. Like we're just going to start taking control over that. So now if you're a big, large company and then like now you have all of the information about these units that Data Air has, and that would include their employees. You'd be buying all of their employees. So all the same people who made these units, who programmed the controllers, you're buying all those people. And you're saying, okay, guys, this was bad. We're going to make it good now. What do we do now? And so, like, now these people just put on a different shirt that says Liebert, and they keep doing the same job. And they get to go, okay, this is what we did wrong on the past. This is what we think we should go with. They have a bunch of meetings to figure it all out, but at least, like, those same people are, like, still in-house, generally speaking. Sometimes they clean house.
That's one way to look at it, but if I was Liebert, I would be ripping out all those controls and putting my own in.
Yeah,
and
but
using the employees I already have.
But exactly. But like Schneider didn't, and you can't, So like, but like to that point,
I
and
think
like
you really could on a Data Air. They literally use industry standard components.
it could be, yeah, no. I mean, like, but everybody,
Sporlan EVs, Copeland compressors.
Yeah, but everybody does. So like, yeah, you could rip out those controls, but like ripping out the controls on like for instance on some of our like units that we have, I mean, we're talking millions of dollars. That is so much labor to do that. That's a lot. You don't want to do that. But like what you do get is like now you get like what everybody else was buying from Data Air, now you get. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So like maybe the fruit is rotten and you don't want it, and which is why, like, to your point, that's what I was saying, like maybe you don't want to buy that. Maybe you are just totally fine with your product, and your customer base. But like it just usually there's someone, and Liebert will be the last person. They'd be the last person.
Throwing names out.
Yeah. But there's usually someone out there that goes,
one of the air companies, you had Data Air, Above Air,
maybe,
Desert Air.
Yeah, but maybe it's not even one of those companies. Maybe it is somebody like Schneider Electric, where like all they did was make APC, or like they did like APC stuff with like servers and shit, and contactors, little electrical parts that they could make in house, and they're like, hey, we could get into making crack units if we just take Data Air's stuff.
Yeah, so
we take their prints. They would have to they would want to like.
You need a company that isn't already like well established in making crack units to go after something like Data Air.
Okay, so let me give you for instance, it's like Daikin with McQuay. So McQuay was a great company, then Daikin came in and was like, I like it. I'm gonna buy everything you have. We're gonna put our name on it. We're gonna make it the same exact way. Change some controller stuff, change some proprietary stuff, but like it's gonna look exactly the same.
Yeah,
like,
but that makes sense because McQuay has assets.
What do you mean by assets?
McQuay has something to buy. Data Air doesn't even have a manufacturing capability, and everything that they bought,
yeah, that's true.
Everything that they had, was brought from another facility that anyone else could contract.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Wow. Yeah, because that would be a major. Yeah, because then if you had to take on the responsibility of making all that stuff, that would suck.
That's what I mean when I say Data Air had no assets worth buying.
Yeah.
Their software wasn't even theirs.
Yeah, it's very true.
Might have been like their
because like really when you boil it down, they have a crew of men and women that just like made those units what they were, and like they're out of a job, so they'll find you.
Yeah.
So fair point. Well, R.I.P. to Data Air, and Adrian and I have just washed all that out. We figured out all the science. So if anyone was dying to know, we just fell into that conversation.
in the HVAC.
Yeah. So we just figured that out in real time. So there's the history.
Anyway.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I really haven't had a long form conversation about Data Air's fall. Other than that, I mean, like, there's been like, oh yeah, they're
Wow, that was
gone.
crazy. They just folded.
Yeah, they just folded. Like, I don't know what happened. You know, you're like, I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to work. You know, I haven't had a chance to just sit down and talk about it.
I mean, to be fair, I think it's kind of a dry subject if you're not in the industry.
Yeah.
It's not something you're going to go, like, visit your mom and be like, hey, Mom, did you hear that Data Air closed down? What do you think?
Yeah, you're not going to pick up the news journal and see it at the top of the page.
And Data Air, I don't think was that big of a player, honestly.
Yeah, definitely not. No, not that. In the grand scheme, definitely not. Yeah, no. But hey, if you've kept up with the conversation, thank you for not leaving.
Probably should put that towards the end. That's going to drive away a lot of people.
I might cut it to the back. If I'm going to be fair, I might cut that out. All right. Well, we had more stuff to talk about.
We had
other
a
than
bunch
that,
of stuff
'cause
to talk about. We were going.
We didn't
you know
want
what?
to talk about that at all.
No, that wasn't planned at all. But hey, you know, I mentioned UK earlier. Let's transition into that.
Yeah.
So the UK is kind of going all 1984 on us. You know, trying to police thought crimes and.
Yeah, I mean, and just preface that a little bit with what we were talking about with that book you were talking about, because like
1984.
Yeah.
So
because when you say 1984, not everybody knows. I didn't know that was a book.
I mean, I thought it was a ubiquitous cultural cornerstone, but you know.
Well, apparently not, because like it's unfolding in front of us. Maybe if more of us had read that book and our school systems
to be fair,
didn't fail us.
To the audience, Keith told me he hadn't even heard of that book, and I was like, oh god, our school systems are failing.
Comment below if you have read this book.
To be fair, I haven't even read it, but I've heard of it, and I know what it's about.
All right.
That's why I was absolutely shocked when you said you never heard of it. But yeah, 1984 was a book written in 1949, actually, by George Orwell, and it's about a dystopian future. The year's never specified, but with the title being 1984, I think it's fair to assume it's 1984. But for those of you who haven't heard the book or heard of the book, this is where we get terms like Orwellian, thought crimes, thought police, newspeak, anything like that talks about like a dystopia. Big Brother is another really popular one. That TV show called Big Brother, which that's an old show now. You know, Gen Alpha and Gen Z probably haven't even heard of that. But yeah, if you ever hear someone talk about Big Brother's watching you, it's from that book, and they're usually talking about like government surveillance, and that's basically what the premise of the book is like. It's a dystopian future with authoritarian government. There's constant surveillance. They ban, you know, certain words so that people can't even like, because you need words to be able to kind of make concepts and ideas concrete into something understandable, unless you're one of those freaks that don't have an internal monologue.
Yeah.
Which
it's the entire idea behind like a salesman.
Yeah, if you don't have the word for freedom, do you know what freedom is? That's what it's about.
Okay.
So, you know, they've got newspeak where those words don't exist, those dangerous words that could incite revolution.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that's prevalent to our society today would be like the whole Big Brother aspect of it and thought crimes and thought police. So what the UK has decided to do was basically make it illegal to do anything or post anything that incites hatred or incites terrorism and all that. And on the surface, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. But again, we have the same old problem of who's making these decisions as to what is hatred, what is inciting, you know, violence and terroristic activities and all that.
and who gets to determine what those things are.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
in or
why
out of context.
That's why we have our First Amendment.
Yeah.
Where, you know, people can say heinous things.
Right.
But you also have the First Amendment right to call them the fuck out on it.
Right.
So it isn't everything goes, because once you start drawing lines, it's like, well, who's drawing that line? Where are we drawing that line? Whoever's drawing the line can decide where it draws the line, and that can be weaponized. So we have a distinction in our laws where anything that's a call to action becomes punishable. Anything up to that, that's fair game. And, you can be canceled by societal pressure, which is how it's supposed to work. That's how the system is supposed to work. If you have a bad idea, people don't listen to you.
Yeah.
People put you down because of it. It's self-regulating. But once you start putting law behind concepts is where it becomes a slippery slope. So the UK has decided that anything that incites terrorism or incites hatred or racial hatred, hate crime, whatever, that is now illegal and an arrestable offense. But where it gets crazy, because that wasn't crazy enough, that's literal like thought crime and thought police shit, is that one police chief, what was his name, Mark Raleigh?
Yeah.
Has insinuated that if you are out of the country and posting things that incite racial hatred, the UK will come for you, were his words.
Yeah.
That we will come for you.
Yeah.
He didn't specify citizenship or, anything like that.
Well, he did say in or out of this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said people acting further afield out of the country.
Further afield, right?
Yeah. But he didn't specify,
United States.
Is he talking about, British subjects or U.S. citizens or French citizens or whatever?
Canadian or wherever.
And when it comes to laws, you need to be
specific.
Very specific, very distinct. You need to make these distinctions. So a lot of people are running with this whole, if I, as a U.S. citizen, say something that could be interpreted by whoever's in charge in the UK as inciting hatred, that they're going to try to extradite me to the UK and put me in jail.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Or even if, you do say something, say you said something in the United States, the UK knew about it, now you're in the UK, and they arrest you for it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't even consider that aspect of it. Now do I have to worry about taking a vacation to the UK because I might have said a mean thing 10 years ago or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, as it seems the way he was talking about things.
Well, the issue
it seemed
is
like nothing was off the table.
Yeah, the issue was he was so incredibly vague about it that
that's true.
All of this is up for interpretation. And if you want to weaponize it, and again, that's why laws need to be specific. If you leave room for interpretation, and as a gun owner and enthusiast, allegedly, I might have lost all my guns in a boating accident.
Yeah, you were on that boat that sank.
Yeah,
that was crazy. On the next podcast.
But whenever the ATF puts out a new ruling and they're vague with their wording, that's just red flags to me because they abuse the hell out of them. So,
because they're using the in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we said this, but what we meant was this.
Oh, yeah. No, we didn't mean that. We meant that we needed to get these people. Yeah.
So when he says one simple statement of if you're further afield operating in another country, we will come for you. Without specifying who you're talking about, you're basically challenging the entire world there.
Yeah.
And being a red-blooded American.
Yeah. Come on.
I'm ready to take on some redcoats.
Yeah,
Let me get my tri-corner hat, powdered wig, my Kentucky rifle. I'm ready.
America, baby.
Because
the shirt.
In the
America,
US,
baby. Look at your shirt.
In the U.S., any weapon that's a replica of an old enough weapon that is black powder, not cartridge, those aren't classified as firearms, and you can have them shipped to your door.
Yeah. PSA.
No need to go to an FFL. They're not firearms. So, if you want to get some Kentucky rifles and some flintlocks, we can do this old school.
Yeah. But we are not inciting riots. We're not inciting.
Yeah. That's going to get me arrested. Hey, you know what? Free trip to the UK. Maybe I can get that, you just had a cavity taken care of. I mean, I'm not sure how good the dental actually is in the UK, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. It's free.
It's free.
I don't like it. I don't. Anytime that someone says that we shouldn't be, or not we shouldn't be, but the inciting for hate speech, all that other stuff. I get it. It's not good to say not nice things, and it's not good to talk badly about public figures and all that other stuff.
There.
Well, yeah, I know. No, I know. But at the same time, I think we all should have that freedom. Cheers. But I feel like we should have that. We should all have that freedom to be able to, like, you know, just kind of speak our minds, because I think that it's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about doing this podcast is that, you know, I'll have a thought, I talk to you about it, and then you're like, hey, just like data air, you know, and like we worked it out because we said it out loud. I've been stewing with those thoughts forever. So like,
Well, see, that's
being
called
able to-
debate, and that's something that's sorely lacking in today's culture.
yeah, and so like instead of having these debates and like having conversations, like people want to silence these kind of conversations. And now thank God we're not. This isn't like the Flat Earth podcast, you know what I mean? Like we're not having that kind of discussion. But like, you know, I'm sure I'm going to be wrong about more things, you know, and like and just because and if anyone's here looking for news, go somewhere else. This ain't news. This ain't History Channel. This ain't this. It ain't that. This is just me and Adrian having fun. We're having fun. This is
Talking about the
entertainment.
weird shit going on in the world.
Yeah, our takes on things and just kind of the way that we perceive the world. And if we're wrong, like we're gonna figure it out like through conversation. And so I would like to think that 90% of what's going on Facebook and all these other social media websites, that that's what's going on. Now, obviously, you know, terrorism and terrorist organizations, they do happen on these social media sites, which is something that we do at least in America, we do, and I'm sure other countries, but like we make sure that like we kind of get a little grips on. And obviously, as being an American, I want the CIA, I need the FBI tap in. I need them like, you know, figuring that shit out, because we don't want that like ensuing. You know, terrorism's not a good thing.
Yeah, like when it comes to
but like what they're doing, you know, in the UK, I think they're trying to achieve the same goal. I think that they're trying to get terrorism, but I think at the same time, at least the way that guy worded it, it sounded like he liked to wrap up anybody who's ever talked shit.
That is the issue. When you have these absolute policies like that.
Exactly.
That are hinging on things that are open to interpretation. And I'm not just talking about like how he didn't specify, he's only talking about British subjects or whatever. But, you know, when it comes to like, is this hate speech? You know, who's deciding that? It becomes subject to abuse. It becomes subject to being weaponized. So as a bit of a, you know, like First Amendment absolutist, where I think freedom of speech is one of the most important things a society can have in order to progress. If you, fuck, where was I going with that? I got myself so fucking worked up.
So, what I was saying was that like they're trying to wrap this thing that they're trying to use to
I
get
remember where I was going
terrorism.
with it.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to like the First Amendment and free speech, it's almost become like this dog whistle where the left, super liberal people accuse the right people of using that as just like an excuse to be able to say racist shit or misogynistic shit.
Right.
It's as someone who genuinely believes the First Amendment is vitally important to a healthy, functioning society. It's not that I want people to be able to have, to be able to, say hate speech and all that shit and be free of repercussions, because we don't need that shit in the world. We really don't. There's enough actual problems without people causing more problems based on somebody's skin color.
Yeah.
But it is a side effect, and it's something that I'm willing to tolerate.
Yeah.
Because I have faith that society as a whole will go look at this racist asshole or misogynistic asshole or whatever and go, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, we weed
and
those
just
people out.
Move on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We as a society, we should be weeding those people out who are
as a society, not as a government.
Yeah.
Because when the government gets involved, right there is your ability for weaponization and abuse of it.
Yeah.
Right there is where all of a sudden hate speech is anyone who doesn't agree with me politically.
Yeah. I mean, it's the epitome of like penalization, of like just taking something and like hitting us with like a blanket. It's like, no, we can't sort out all of the little tiny, like, some people over here, some people over there aren't. Yeah, these people are. Now no one gets it. Now no one's allowed to say anything bad on social media. That's how we're going to.
And that's where the UK's at.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah. And
again, it's funny that you put it the way you did, where you said this guy sounds like he just wants to round up anyone who's went back. Yeah, if it's up to his interpretation, like I don't like having the fate of me going to jail hinging on someone's interpretation of what I said.
Yeah. Or even worse is their instinct of being like, I think that he's,
that's what I mean
get
by
where
their
you're.
interpretation.
I know, but even to take it to another level, to be like,
someone's got a
I got a
grudge
weird
on me.
feeling like this is what he meant.
Or,
it's
you
like,
know,
fuck
let's-
that, dude.
You know, let's say I'm a well-known conservative, and like
Sorry,
I said,
I just went black. Sorry.
yeah, but
I'm back to black.
Jesus Christ,
Sorry.
But like, you know,
Conservative.
for example, let's say I'm a well-known super conservative speaker, and I say something that's just borderline enough to get caught up in the courts, and now this super liberal judge who hates my guts has my case.
Yeah.
Well, of course I'm going to fucking jail.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Even if
100%.
what I said was admittedly borderline, but not over the line.
Yeah, which is like isn't the Supreme Court? There's like some court that's supposed to be like non-biased, right?
The Supreme Court is
Supreme
supposed to be
Court-
like the end-all, be-all.
But it's like split up of like Democrat, Republican. You know, there should be
Right
some
now,
independence in there.
no, right now there's right now I think it's a Republican majority, so the left is absolutely losing their mind, saying, "Oh, they rigged the system. They motherfucker, you guys would do the same thing if you had the opportunity."
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. But why do we even have the opportunity? Because again, like to me, like we talked about this in the last podcast. I like being undeniable. So like whatever that means, like I hate the feeling that like if I had like some control of like a party on one side or the other, I don't like being accused of having the advantage. I would like people to just like my party or like the
Your
party that I'm-
policy.
my policy, yeah, like for what I believe in, and not because like they think that I have it rigged. It's like no. If I whatever I believe in, whatever I'm saying is like as good as I think it is, it should just win by itself. It shouldn't win because like the entire Supreme Court's on my side, the entire blah 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 is on my side. Now, is it difficult? Because of where politics is today, I get that we're like it's in your best interest just to make sure that like you're able to just
if you
move-
want to get
you can just
anywhere, you
move
have to pick one of
freely.
these parties.
Yeah, right.
You have to. Like you're
Yeah,
not
but
getting
just-
anywhere as an independent, unfortunately.
Right. Well, I mean, even independent aside, because I know what you're saying. I that's a pipe dream, but like, and like again, not that I'm like a major independent. I'm not. I'm just now today because things are so crazy. It was kind of what I'm getting to is that like even if like you know it shouldn't be the fact that like you have to have a full Republican like Supreme Court or like majority ruling Supreme Court. All of these Republicans like in your backseat cabinet, like it should be more of something where it's like we shouldn't have to like have all those things to be able to move freely and get things done in those political realms with only the people that are in your party. Like because like why
Well-
can't it be that like a Democrat and a Republican because
Legally
that's the two
speaking,
parties that
like there is no such barrier.
right, exactly. But we've created them. We've created them for sure.
The
And, like,
divide has
and-
gotten so
yeah.
polarized that it exists, you know, practically.
Yeah. I mean, like the other party is dying for the other party to fail, and then so like you know, if you were in politics and like you had someone else that was working for you and then made a mistake, you'd be like, they did it on purpose. You couldn't get that out of your head because you knew that like they're for another party, and that if they said they were like, hey. Look, let's put the parties aside. Let's just be who we are,
Well-
and that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm talking utopian, but like, I'm sorry, but like, I just like to
You're
think
talking
that we're all
utopian,
working
but
together.
we're heading headlong to dystopian.
Yeah, I just want us all to work together
Yeah,
because the
that'd be
country
nice.
can be even better than
Look,
it's
I could
ever
talk
been.
for you and me could talk for
and it
hours
just-
about how we'd overhaul the government and try to like curtail that. But
We'll save that for when you run for president.
yeah, we'll save that for when I'm more drunk and don't care about what the audience
Yeah.
thinks.
Yeah, let's.
But yeah, so
we'll move on. So we've solved nothing so far.
no, but we have called out the
oh
UK.
yeah.
Oh, and-
so to put that out, go
Just
ahead.
to kind of make it real for people, the UK passed this. What do they call it? The Online Safety Act or whatever they do. They just passed that into law not that long ago, and since they
Yeah.
passed it, some 741 people have been arrested for social media posts.
Yeah.
302 of which have been charged.
Yeah.
So there's people serving jail time for saying things online.
Yeah. Now, grand scheme, I had to say that like that number is actually kind of shockingly low for what I thought that everything was going to be.
That depends on when this passed.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I don't know what the date on that is. I mean, 2 days ago.
Now, when did this bill pass? That's what I need to know.
Okay, yeah, sorry. The article was 2 days ago. Sorry, I shot off. Yeah, but I thought that would be a little bit low. Just because, dude, that's a fire haircut. Can I go? Can I go to the? I want to go to this real quick. That is a fire haircut.
Traditional judgely attire in the UK.
Bro, that's like a mullet. Can you zoom at all? I feel like, I mean, that's pretty good. I hopefully the folks at home can see that. That's a fire haircut, bro. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. But yeah, dude, that's a fire haircut. He's like a mullet going on almost.
Mullet wig.
Mullet wig, dude. Yo, I should get one. Dude, I should get one. I need it. I need that. It could be a look.
When I get a haircut, I'll donate you some hair because I've got plenty.
Dude, if you could, that would be so sweet. My birthday's coming up. A few months.
A few months. I'll get that and I'll get you that and those African guys that do the birthday videos.
Oh my god, dude. They're like happy birthday. Mwah, 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 mwah. That's so funny, dude. The blowing kisses gets me every time. Dude, you see some asshole did one for fucking Jeffrey Epstein,
yeah, those poor guys have no idea.
They have no idea. That's so fucked, dude. Anyway, moving on.
Man, I thought we had more pulled up.
Yeah, I didn't think so either before we started. We got in. So
Yeah,
there was also just to touch on some things that have happened that we
there was other shit.
What?
We just didn't pull it up. We got astronauts stuck in space still until like February 2025.
Yeah, so what's your take on that? Because I've said from the beginning that what I thought and you had also mentioned that like on tons of our podcasts that they have not done very good with Starliner.
Yes, Boeing Starliner.
Boeing Starliner, yeah. So the Boeing Starliner has had many failed attempts, and then quite literally the SpaceX has run circles literally around them.
Yeah.
While they've made all these failed attempts, and then when they finally get up there, now it's stuck. They've had failures. Some things happened, and like they've seemed to do a pretty good job at spinning this off as if they could use this to their advantage. And now it's not a big deal. And then 3 months goes by. Dude, can you imagine? It's
2 months.
2 months? Okay.
2 months.
All right. I'm sorry. But so 2 months goes by, and now they're like, you know what? Look, let's just call this 2025.
Well,
Like,
okay.
That's crazy.
There's more details behind that. It's not.
But
quite
hang
that
on.
straightforward.
But imagine you go up, and it's supposed to be 2 weeks.
No,
right?
it was supposed to be 8 days originally.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you go on a business trip for 8 days, and your company says, yeah, actually, it's going to be about 6 months.
Okay, so imagine me telling Holly that I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be going 8 days, and then I'll be right back. She's like, okay, cool, not a big deal. And then I'm like, hey, it's been 2 months.
Hey, sweetie, I know it's been 2 months, but I'm not coming back till February next year.
So they're like, and it's like, okay, I guess we'll call you at Christmas, like maybe. It's like, dude, that's insane.
I'm gonna miss Valentine's Day.
I mean, maybe I'm far too much of a human and like not enough of an astronaut to like really understand this, like live and breathe it. But I would lose my shit. That's why I'm not an astronaut. I would never go up. Dude.
I would totally.
Dude, the Earth. What?
Totally go up.
Yeah. Dude, the Earth got to get pretty bad for me to go. Like if they were like sending people up and they were like, dude, it's sick. There's Disney. There's Wi-Fi. Like you can go.
No, I mean, there's Wi-Fi on the ISS at least.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't want to go hang out in some spaceship. Fuck that.
You don't want to float in 0G?
No.
No, but you're right. I would love to go to a resort on the moon.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But anyway, so what is going on?
Yeah.
So more details have come out because I know we've talked about this before slightly, but so the issue when they went up there was 4 out of 5 of the was it the OMAC thrusters or the RCS thrusters? I forget which ones, but 4 out of 5 of this one group of thrusters had 5 out of 8. I think it was. There's 8. 5 out of 8 failed. They were able to reset 4 of them. One of them is down. Not coming back.
Okay.
Which is fine, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fine. But it's not fine. But they have redundancy to cover it.
Okay.
But the issue...
Dude, if I was in space, I would be like, this is not fucking fine.
Yeah. The issue that's kind of come to the forefront over the weeks turning into months is that the thrusters were overheating.
Yeah.
And I don't. Maybe I can find a picture of it. But they, man, they decided to pack a bunch of thrusters into an assembly called the doghouse, and
Oh.
are you kidding me? Yeah. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thrusters packed in this one area.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it up on the screen.
9 thrusters packed in this one
I'm gonna
area.
just do that one more time. I'm sorry, I should have.
Oh yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's something like 9 thrusters packed in this little cluster. And
And so,
there's
what are we looking at right now?
okay. Let me
Just
make sure I'm not getting this wrong. This is
break it down for me.
yeah for you. Okay. So you've got the capsule that sits. I'm assuming up here. It's not attached. This is a service module. This part gets ejected when they come back and burns up in the atmosphere, and the astronauts stay in the capsule up here that has a heat shield and blah blah blah. We've got what's called OMAC thrusters, which are orbital maneuvering something. I'm terrible with acronyms. And then we've got RCS, which is reaction control system thrusters. So the OMACs are for changing the orbit, basically. So like after this thing separates from the second stage of the rocket, and yeah, there you go. So here's the bottom of it. The capsule sits
that's
up
a good
top
picture.
there.
All right, cool.
So these
Follow along,
thrusters
Chad.
are used for doing maneuvers in orbit. So raising the orbit to like catch up with the ISS, and I think they're for deorbiting as well. I'm not 100% sure on that.
And so, just while we're on this picture, because I'm going to go back to us in a second. Like, can you explain like what we're looking at on the bottom here?
The bottom here, that's a solar panel.
What the fuck, dude?
That's so we get electrical power while we're in space.
So this would be pointed upwards. We're looking at the top.
Depends on what you want to call the top. Because the capsule, if I remember correctly, sits on this side up here. The capsule would be attached up there. This attaches to the bottom of the capsule. And it points the solar panel towards the sun just to get power.
Okay. All right.
What other pictures do they have here?
So,
And yeah, you can
All
see
right,
right
so
here, this is a
space is
picture of
complicated.
the OMAC thrusters firing.
okay.
And you got 2 facing that way as well.
So that's it. So, okay. So there's 2 on the other side.
Yeah. So back to this picture, you've got
Yeah.
2 of the big thrusters, the OMAC thrusters, on the top and 3 on the bottom. And then you've got these smaller ones, which are the RCS thrusters. That's just for changing attitude, altitude, roll, and all that shit. Just for like fine adjustments, basically, and to orient the craft. These ones are for like actually moving the thing.
Okay.
That's why they're bigger. But I think the OMACs were the ones that were failing, or it might have been the RCS that were failing. I forget.
Okay.
If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean,
But
look, it's not a
the issue is because if you look at how much shit's packed in here,
Yeah.
and there's a cover over this,
Yeah.
even if like these 2 aren't running, but these are, this shit's getting hot.
Yeah.
And how they, I guess on Earth when they were testing it, you've got the atmosphere, so you've got convection cooling going on.
Right.
In space, there's no
You
air
don't have
to pull that heat away.
Yeah.
So it all builds up in there in radiative heat. And I guess that might be one of the issues. I don't know how the fuck they overlooked that. These are rocket scientists and engineers.
Yeah.
But they're having issues with it overheating.
Okay.
And there are like Teflon seals in different parts of it that are like
Melting.
could be damaged
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they overheat.
Yeah.
Like one of the I just read snippets of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a couple of days since I last read it. But you know, they've got like Teflon seals that were like getting damaged, and for that to happen, they'd have to go past like 600 degrees Celsius, which is ridiculous. So that's the issue that they were having. And Boeing seems confident that
Well, they have to.
that this won't be an issue when it comes to deorbiting.
Yeah.
But well, you know, we had 5 out of 8 thrusters fail on the way up. Like if they fail on the way down and we can't get them back online, like that's a problem. Now we got people stuck in an orbit in this capsule and they can't deorbit.
All right. So how would this one land?
So what this does is it would disconnect from the ISS. It would use its RCS thrusters to maneuver away, and then
Yeah.
it would use the OMAC thrusters, I'm assuming, to deorbit. Because when you're in orbit, if you're in space, there's very little air friction at the altitude that they're flying. So basically, they're just going to keep going for a very, very, very long time. At their orbit, it might be a couple years before they would come down naturally.
Whoa.
So in order to come down, you need to slow down because they're going around the Earth at 17,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And what that does is they're basically falling over the horizon.
Yeah.
So if you want to fall onto the planet instead of shooting over the horizon, you got to slow down.
Yeah.
So Zomac thrusters are used to slow the thing down until it comes down to Earth.
Yeah.
And that will be landing in the desert somewhere in the west, like California or Nevada or something. I forget exactly where. It's like the White Sands Missile Range. It's a U.S. military missile range.
Yeah.
It would be landing in there under parachutes with airbags that deploy on the bottom to soften the blow.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that we have, Crew Dragon, lands in the water. Because water is softer than the ground.
Yeah.
And they originally were developing Dragon to propulsively land, but NASA was like, that's too high risk. We'd rather you just use parachutes. And SpaceX was like, fine. Well, we don't have a system in development for landing on land, so we'll just drop it in the water.
Yeah.
But, so they had multiple failures. The sticking point right now is, can this thing safely undock and perform the correct maneuvers to get these guys back home safely? The question isn't like, oh, is this thing going to like break up on reentry? Are the parachutes going to work? All that supposedly has been ironed out. I mean, we are talking about Boeing, but those aren't the issues that are holding everyone up. And, when people say they're stranded up there, that's kind of misleading. Odds are that if, let's say a meteor hit the ISS and they needed to evacuate now, they could probably get in that thing and get home just fine.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
We're talking about NASA. We're talking about spending taxpayer money, and we're talking about space. You don't want to hedge your bet on probably.
Yeah.
NASA has a tolerance for failure when it comes to crewed spacecraft of 1 in 270, which means if you were to go to space 270 times, you would have a failure of 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're talking about like loss of crew or something, but that's their failure rate. So that's the bar they need to clear.
I don't like it.
We don't go to space that often.
I know, but just the crew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the failure rate is for. Like,
I
everyone
know.
would love that
They all
failure rate to be like
know.
1 in a million.
They know what they're doing, dude. They
But
know what they're doing.
Realistically speaking,
They know what they
space
got
is
themselves
hard.
into. Either way. Yeah.
Space is hard, and we're pushing the edge of, our understanding of physics just to get there.
Yeah.
So 1 in 270 is the failure rate that NASA will tolerate, and that's the failure rate that Boeing needs to assure NASA that this ship will meet before they bring them home. So the reason that everyone's saying they're stranded is because they've been up there running test after test after test, and they're also concurrently doing testing on the ground here in like a vacuum chamber to try to figure out the root cause of why these thrusters are overheating. They haven't found it yet. Boeing is pushing for NASA to accept something called flight rationale, which, as I understand it, is, well, I mean, we've proven that it works. We don't know what caused that problem, but we know how often that problem occurs, and we know how to avoid that problem, so you should let us fly anyway.
Ooh.
So, like, it's like, yeah, we know there's a problem. We know that doing this triggers that problem, and if we don't do that, then we don't trip that problem, but we don't know what's causing the problem.
Dude, what the fuck?
So that Boeing's pushing for them to accept, like, flight rationale, which is that.
Which is death?
No,
Oh.
it's what I just said. Like,
Oh.
Here's the issue. Here's how we avoid it, but we don't know what's causing the issue.
Yeah.
But if we don't do this thing, then they'll be safe. We still don't know what's causing the issue, but they should be safe. Flight rationale. That's what they call it, I think.
Right, so we're talking about safety. So the latter is they die.
Yeah, if they're wrong, they could die.
Yeah. Okay. Just so we're all clear, because I feel like that's what most people are wondering.
Yeah.
And then also, so like, what I'm very curious of is like, obviously everyone knows how they go up. They go up. They have thrusters. The thrusters come off, and then they get into orbit.
Generally speaking, you want the pointy end up
yeah.
and the flamey end down.
Yes. Yeah. So when they come back down is the weird part.
Are you talking about the rocket or the capsule?
Um,
Because there's only one company bringing rockets back down right now, and that's SpaceX.
Yeah, so that was, I guess, yeah, that's my question. So this whole thing's not coming back down.
The capsule is that part that we have up on the screen there is going to come down as well, but it's going to burn up in the atmosphere
Okay. So
by
just-
design.
Yeah, by design, she going.
And SpaceX does that as well with their Crew Dragon.
yeah.
They've got the trunk, they call it.
Yeah.
that burns up. On
Right,
the
so
way down.
there's pieces. So but I mean, how big is this capsule? Is this capsule one of these things that like is like this? Is it the larger portion of the ship? And like how is it coming down? Is it gonna land flat or like because like our original what's the space shuttle? It
came down and landed like a plane. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this will come down and land flat. So here's the Boeing SpaceX Starliner
Pull it
capsule.
up.
Here's the capsule where the astronauts stay, and here's the trunk, or not the trunk, the service module is what they call it. That has the OMAC and RCS thrusters, and that's these right here. These are the dog houses that house it.
Okay.
So this part right here separates when it comes back down. Can I find a picture of there you go. There's a heat shield right there.
Do you want to work on your Zoom for a second? You want to try to zoom that for a second while I just talk nonsense. So, all right. So this is crazy. So I knew that it came down in a portion, but I feel like with seeing
Wow,
so
that's
much,
zooming on
that's
everything
okay.
except what I need.
Slide it over. See if it slides over. Oh, okay. Well, then yeah. You did it. So we'll bring up the picture. Now, I assumed only because of how much SpaceX was doing that like these were going to do the same thing, where like the majority of the ship was going to like come back down with it. But
No,
it seems like it's
If this was a SpaceX Falcon 9 with a Crew Dragon, this part from here down would come back and land, and then
Yeah.
up here would be the Crew Dragon, and that also comes back.
okay.
Everything else burns up.
Okay.
And as far as like regular rockets go, that's great because right
Does it-
now on this
Also, like, if
rocket
you-
right here,
if you-
that's the
if-
only thing that comes back. All of
Okay.
this drops into the ocean,
Yeah.
burns up in the atmosphere, etc.
And like for the future of like pointing things out, can you do like a click and like drag? Like, you can do like a box. Would that help if like people
Well,
were watching this?
Can't do that.
You
on
can't.
here.
But like if you clicked off and clicked on, I don't know. I was just trying to.
Maybe we can change the color of the cursor to be like neon green. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But yeah, so
Okay, but no, I get it.
Now
okay,
you-
so that thing's gonna come down and it's gonna like fly into the atmosphere, and then
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna
right
have
now-
boosters that like will let it like kind of land soft. How
No,
does what,
parachutes.
so it's just gonna slowly just hit the
So-
ground or hit in the ocean?
What happened? No, this lands on the ground. So this will undock from the ISS.
Mm-hmm.
It'll I might be getting the order incorrect here, but it should do I can't be getting it wrong because the boosters are attached to the service module. It'll do its braking burn to slow down, so it will re-enter Earth. After that, it will disconnect from the service module. That will separate. It'll burn up in the atmosphere on its way down, and then this will fall down separate.
The reusable fuel module,
The crew module.
crew module.
Yeah. So this will come down separate from that. This will burn up or fall into the ocean. I think this is designed to burn up. So that should burn up in the atmosphere. Shouldn't make it to the ground at all. This will come through the atmosphere. It'll use the atmosphere itself to slow down a lot. Like they'll pull like 5 or 6 Gs
Yeah,
just slowing down from hitting the air.
yeah.
After it slows down to a certain point, it'll deploy parachutes, a drag chute or a pilot chute, and then that'll slow it down a bit and then pull out the main chutes, which will slow it down to its final speed. And then as it's coming down, as it's under parachute, it should jettison the heat shield. And underneath that are airbags, which will deploy as it lands. Those airbags also act as a flotation device if it decides to abort for whatever reason over the ocean. But during land, it's just to cushion the landing.
Okay,
So that's how that's supposed to work.
interesting.
Now
I didn't know that, dude.
The reason why there have been headlines going on saying that they're stuck there till February of 2025 is if NASA decides that they don't trust this thing enough to get the astronauts back. February 2025 is when Crew 9, which is a SpaceX mission, is slated to leave. So they should be heading up in September September. They got pushed back because of this whole fiasco, actually.
Yeah.
But they should be heading up in September, and then they would be leaving in February. So one of the options that NASA has been studying and is on the table is they'll only send Crew Dragon 9 up with 2 people instead of the usual 4. So there's 2 open seats for Butch and Suni, who are up there now.
Yes.
The other issue, this is just Boeing being Boeing, is as it sits right now, that capsule cannot leave without a crew. It cannot autonomously undock, which is hilarious because the first uncrewed technically it was the second uncrewed demo flight because the first one failed to make it to the ISS, but the first time it went to the ISS, it was uncrewed, so it was completely autonomous. For whatever reason, the software on there now doesn't have the parameters set up or just doesn't have the ability to undock autonomously.
Yeah.
So they have to write, verify, test and verify, and then send an update to that capsule for it to be able to undock autonomously. Right now, it will not be able
and they
to
can
do it.
send that to space, dude.
Yeah, they got Wi-Fi up there. It's fine.
Fucking Wi-Fi, dude. Wi-Fi's fucking nuts. Dude, Wi-Fi rules.
And as
Dude,
much as
that's
I
so
would
crazy.
love to, sing the praises of the Wi-Fi, I think we need to draw back attention to the fact that Boeing had the ability to autonomously undock and then decided to not have that function available
Anymore.
when they sent people up there.
Yeah. They're like, but there's going to be people on it. We don't need to put all that extra work into it. Fuck it. Get it up there. We're already 6 to 8 months late. Fuck it.
6
Let's
to
go.
8 months.
Oh, is it a year? Is it a year? Is it a year late? No, how far off is the Starliner?
Let's look up when SpaceX.
Oh no, I'm wrong. Oh no.
SpaceX Crew Dragon first flight. Oh God, we're zoomed way the fuck in.
Zoomed.
Crew Dragon Demo 2, 2020. They're 4 years late.
Oh.
And that's behind SpaceX. This was the commercial crew program was supposed to be off the ground in like 2018, 2019 or something like that.
Son, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, so you think they were rushed? This is I mean, from your unprofessional opinion, do you think
it's not just that they were rushing to get this shit done, but because they already had one failed flight, like this is an extra flight entirely out of Boeing's pocket.
budget? Yeah.
NASA's contracted to pay for one uncrewed mission, one crewed demo mission, which is what this is, and then 6 crewed missions.
And they've already burned through that budget. Because they
It's
have
a milestone-based budget.
Oh.
So they get paid when they do certain milestones.
Okay.
The other issue for Boeing, a good thing for us taxpayers, is that
Yeah.
this was a fixed price contract, which means Boeing bid a price that they thought they could do it at,
Yeah.
and that's all the money they get.
Yeah.
So if, they run into problems and they need to spend more money to develop things further, that's coming out of their pocket.
Yeah.
They told NASA, we need X amount of dollars. NASA gave them X amount of dollars, and once that's out, it's coming out of their pocket.
Damn.
I've seen things like they're like over $1 billion in the red,
Yeah.
and they're not going to be able to make that up until they start running missions and getting those milestone payments.
Yeah.
So,
And now, just for some background, because I'm not a space guy, so and if everyone else is listening and just kind of getting into it, just like I am, are these? I know that, of course, is this like? There's tons of like little companies that have always like NASA's contracted other small companies and stuff, but like is this like the first like big contracted company to like do space activity stuff like this? Like,
So-
are we truly living in unprecedented times?
this is a first because NASA has always worked with contractors, and they're not just small contractors. They've
Right.
worked with massive contractors. They've worked with
Yeah.
Boeing. Boeing was one of the prime contractors for the space shuttles.
Yeah.
So it's not like we haven't had private enterprise involved in NASA. The difference is traditionally what NASA would do is it'd be a cost plus contract where, tell us how much you think it's going to cost, and if you have any other issues, we'll foot the bill. So that's the first big difference. The second difference is whenever NASA would contract these out, they would design everything. And they would like come up with the strictest parameters, like requirements, and it was their design.
It's NASA's.
NASA would design it and then contract these people to build it.
Mm-hmm.
What's different about this is NASA said, here's what we need to be done.
Yeah.
Not here's what we need you to make. We need to get people from here to the ISS. However you do that, as long as it matches our safety standards, we're good.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then it was also fixed price, not cost plus. So it's like, how much do you think it's going to cost? Because that's all you're getting.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, it's kind of what I figured. Yeah, because
I
NASA's...
did find what I was looking for. This was supposed to take off in 2017. So SpaceX was 3 years late, and Boeing is now 7 years late.
Fuck. Jeez.
Actually, 7 years and counting, because that was when the
not
first
finished
crewed
yet.
missions were supposed to start.
Yeah.
Not the demo mission,
Yeah.
the crewed mission.
Yeah, they're not even finished yet. That's so crazy. Oh, space is nuts. And so NASA's still up to stuff too, right? Are they still launching stuff?
SLS.
Okay. Yeah. So
I mean, they have a bunch of like satellites and science missions that they will contract out to like Falcon 9 or ULA's Vulcan or Rocket Lab with their Electron, where they're just paying for a ride basically.
Mm-hmm.
But the SLS, which is our moon rocket,
Mm-hmm.
that is probably the last NASA designed rocket and NASA owned. That's the other thing that's different. Before, it was like anything that these contractors made under the old contracts, it was NASA's property, and NASA being a publicly funded, taxpayer funded government agency, that now becomes like public domain.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to, I guess you could build your own space shuttle off of their plans, and you wouldn't be like doing any copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Practically speaking, that's not possible, but it's all public domain shit.
Yeah.
It's NASA's like, we will pay you to get our guys from here to here, and since you can design it and do whatever you want, this is yours. So
Yeah.
the goal was to kind of foster the growth of the commercial space sector. So, SpaceX is already doing that, where they have private launches of their Crew Dragon. You couldn't privately rent out a space shuttle to take you to space.
Yeah.
But with Crew Dragon, you can go up to SpaceX and go, hey, I want a 3-day vacation in orbit. And they'll be like, okay, $160 million. And you're like, all right, bet.
Fuck.
And, the goal was for Boeing to be able to do that as well.
Yeah.
I
Dot.
Look, I'm just going to say the Crew Dragon is safer and has had 0 issues like this.
Yeah. So if
Or
you're
not safe.
if
The
you're
Crew
booking your
Dragon
flight
is
to
cheaper.
Yeah.
Is cheaper than the Boeing Starliner.
Yeah. So if you're booking your flight to the moon, please use SpaceX as per our recommendation. But hey, nothing's wrong with Boeing. Boeing's
No,
great.
no,
Boeing
Boeing's
actually
great.
could be one of the greatest companies in the world.
Yep.
Boeing is actually so good that I can't even compare it to anything.
Boeing is my super special favorite.
Yeah, actually, like when I say things are good, I say that oh my god, that's so Boeing of you to do that, because that's how good Boeing is. Boeing, I love you. We love say it. You love Boeing. Just say it and say it. Say it. Do it.
Boeing is my favorite, and I love them.
Adrian, you have kids. Please say it. think of your family.
Yeah, they totally didn't offer that Turkish Olympian a contract or anything.
All right. So we did space. Can we talk about Japan?
Can we take a pee break?
Oh, pee break time. All right. So back for the pee break. So we were ending on the Japanese stock market crashed. So a little bit late. I don't know when this one's going to go out, but this happened, I guess, like August 9th. It was like that Monday of last week or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So,
I mean, we're late. It's already rebounded.
yeah. So, and that's good. And so what I was going to say, why I wanted to bring that up is because I was wondering if it was going to rebound and how quickly. So, but still. So our stock market did the same thing. Now that rebounded pretty quickly, faster than probably most people anticipated, but that doesn't mean that they're out of the woods. So just to give a small amount of context, so again, the stock market in Japan had crashed on Monday. I'm going with like August 8th, I think it was, that Monday, whatever that day was. But the big thing was that it had crashed, and it had crashed harder than it ever had. There's a fucking moth.
Monday was the 5th.
Hang on. There's a fucking moth.
You got it.
Did I?
It's on the table.
God. Can we get makeup? All right. Stock market. All right, so the stock market crashed in Japan, which is a big deal because the stock market has not crashed this hard in Japan since like 1988 when the
probably
stock market.
the 90s. There was the bubble market that that crashed.
Well, it was for us. It was the same time. It was around like 1988, 89.
No, it was the 90s because.
Are you sure?
Tying this back to cars, all those really cool Japanese cars that we got in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, the FDRX7, the R32, GTR, the NSX, and all that. That was the result of a very strong Japanese yen and very strong Japanese economy. It was a bubble market, and it popped. And
so, I mean,
they haven't quite recovered from that, ever.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So do me a favor. I mean, just look that up for... but as far as I know, the Japanese market crashed in 1989, 88 when our stock market crashed. So we had that crash
85 to 91.
So yeah, it was a big trajectory, but I think it was 88 when it hit its low. So
it would have been 91 when it crashed.
All right. Well, but do me. What is it? All right. So then you want to talk about a bubble? I mean, click on that picture that has a graph because I'm sure that the peak of it is going to say 91.
Yeah, 91. It crashed in 91.
All right. So all right. So then, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so it's 91. So, but so no matter what, the stock market has never had in Japan has never had a crash this big that happened since then. But also, like the yen in Japan, has been a pretty stable thing. It's been pretty undervalued compared to the U.S. dollar. But the biggest point was that since 2007, the inflation rates have not changed in Japan.
Yeah, they had those locked.
Yeah, they've been pretty locked in with their rates. So for entrepreneurs in other countries like America, amongst others, who were like venture capitalists or people looking to trade, they were buying. Or taking out loans in Japan with yen and then using that yen to then buy things in America with like the money transfer.
Well, it's because their loan rates were so... Actually, I think I saw some. They were negative. Like the banks are basically paying you to take a loan.
Exactly.
Which seems very unsustainable.
And as it turns out, it is. So what they call this is a carry trade.
Yeah. Carry trading.
Yeah. So...
it's been unwinding lately.
Yeah, and so, but for a long, I mean, think about it. Since 2007, this is like their inflation rates have stayed locked, where like they've just been very concrete, and it seems like a safe bet to like if you have a bunch of money, you can go to Japan, buy, or take out a loan with like your money that you're using against these things, and then use it in the American stock trade. Essentially, I'm using broad terms here, but like, so basically what's been happening is that they're predicting that a few $1 trillion are attributed to our economy with these carry trades. And then, so with the failing of the Japanese stock market, now the Japanese market have now raised their inflation rates. And so
it's their
now
interest rates on inflation.
Or I'm sorry. Yeah. Fuck. Not inflation rates. Fuck. Their interest rate. They've raised their inflation or interest rates, and so like now
Inflation is going up. You're right.
inflation's on my mind, but their interest rates have gone up. So essentially now they're asking for more money that like none of these people were anticipating.
That, and I saw something about margin calls being like made, which in the stock market a margin call is like if you leverage all these trades, like this is the bank calling you going like, hey, you got the money to pay these back?
Yeah, because
and
like
now everyone's got to sell their shit, and that's causing the U.S. market to start to tank.
Exactly. Yes. So it's not as simple as just being like, well, no, I have the money. It's like, no. Like all of this money is all like fucking fake. Like, no. Like you did have the money, and like now the inflation or the interest rates have gone up. So like, no, yeah, I don't think you do have the money anymore because like now with these interest rates going higher, like technically you're not going to have the money anymore. So on paper, like you're kind of fucked. And so
you have to sell all your assets in the U.S. market.
Right. So then that's what happened is that like everybody here has now started like selling all of these stocks that they do have to be able to pay off the new interest that they've now occurred, because like before they wouldn't have it. And like you said, in a lot of these cases, these people were being paid to take these loans, and they were making money off taking loans and making money with the money that they take the loans out with. And so like it was a shoo-in. And so, I mean, imagine that happening for the last almost 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's 15 years at the minimum that's been going on. So and again, like no one can even quantify how much money is all floating around in this. So, you know, again, like they're looking at like trillions of dollars that are in our current stock exchange that are attributed to these carry trades that are now like
drying up.
Yeah, not going well.
But the good news is the Japanese economy has rebounded.
Yeah, so hopefully, I mean,
it dipped 12% and then has rebounded 10% as of like the last couple of days. So realistically, they saw a drop of 2%.
So, but I think that's because the Japanese have injected money into the market. We probably should have looked into that. Maybe give it a Google.
I'm not an economist.
I mean, look, and maybe we should bring one on.
Get
Kevin.
Emilio,
we need fucking or Emilio, dude. Emilio definitely needs to come back on, but Kevin too. And Kevin's long overdue, so I'd love to get his take on this. But and actually get him on camera. We fucked up his video, but
we need to get him back.
yeah. So. Yeah, so it's just very interesting. And again, I should preface this that like I'm not a stock guy. I do not
financially illiterate.
Like, yeah, I'm not that guy. But you know, it was as far as it comes to like seeing our interest rates now drop down to 5.5%. About is the going rate. You know, a lot of that was weirdly attributed because of how bad the Japanese stock market went. Is that like now that so much money clearly got lost in the stock market with everyone selling that they have to like now like do our own form of injecting money, and that is lowering interest rates, which is going to entice people like you to buy a house or like other people to just start taking loans. And just getting more money back into people's hands and just start getting more money into exchange. So it's been crazy because like I saw like the inflation rate go down, which is like it took me into a rabbit hole of me like just kind of figuring out like the history behind how the Japanese stock market had so much to do with ours, and that's kind of crazy. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know those kind of things even existed. I knew that the money was always different.
There are definitely other markets that have an effect on the American market, but
not like that though. Like, I mean, it didn't seem like
Japan's a pretty big economy.
I know, but I mean, again, like, and I'm a novice. I know nothing really of economics, but I just like I never saw it that way. I would see it as in like a plus, like Tesla comes into play, SpaceX comes into play. These are like ups for the market. These are ups, and then that's like what pulls the market away is what company failure, maybe, but like usually, like the like stockbrokers can kind of like adjust for that, and that keeps us going. But like, what really brings the stock market down, aside from what was the God damn, I always forget like the name of those loans. The 2008 was
the subprime mortgages.
Subprime, yeah, fuck, subprime mortgages. Yeah.
No.
So.
But you can always take solace in the fact that, these other economies crashing might like hurt the U.S. economy, but it will never do as much damage as when our economy crashes and brings the world down with us.
Yeah. That was bad.
I forget if it was, I think it might have been Fluff that said it to me. It was just like, when America gets a cold, the rest of the world gets the flu.
Yeah. Actually, I think I mentioned that to you. Yeah.
That might have been you, actually.
Yeah. Because that was something that like was portrayed to me through this whole thing. Like as I was going through this, like somebody like the videos and like the little articles I had read, that like that's the thing, is that like we do have a gigantic influence, but like it's crazy to see the influence go the other way on our stock market. And just I don't know, the whole thing, like it is kind of fascinating, like the economics of the world and like the GDPs and how everything all goes, and like when you see it really happen, like in front of
a bunch
you,
of people gambling on Wall Street control like the fate of the fucking country.
yeah, but it's just interesting to see it all play out in front of you, and like with like real events. And but speaking of that, the one stock that did go up after all of this,
Lockheed Martin's having a day.
Yeah, everybody's betting on Lockheed Martin.
Actually, let me pull up Lockheed Martin's ticker, because that was a meme that was going on the day that everything crashed. I don't know if their stock like corrected or what.
Yeah, and I think so. I was reading this other like thing where people were saying that.
Yeah, it's leveled out, but.
August
7th, it spiked and it's kind of stayed up.
No, it's stayed up. I mean, it took a spike again, but yeah. So, and I read something else.
It went from $538 to $551 a share, and it's currently at $551. So it's gone up and stayed up.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of people talking about that, like the
down.
fact that Lockheed Martin went up and all these other people were selling. Were like, oh, there's gonna be like an attack or a terrorist attack, but like no, this is a classic, like where your money's not safe here because imagine like all these people who I was just talking about who are involved in this carry trade, right? And they're like, what do we do with this money in the stock market? Do we sell? And I'm sure everybody sold something. But then they're like, well, let's just sell some, move the rest. And they move the rest to one thing that they know they can count on. And that's Lockheed Martin. Like, there's no way that we're involved in like two proxy wars that like Lockheed Martin's going to go down. Like Lockheed
do you
Martin.
know what Lockheed Martin
bro,
makes,
hang on. Like, dude, Lockheed Martin right now is as good as gold. Like that share is staying high and staying strong.
A couple other safe bets might be like Northrop Grumman and Raytheon.
Sure, yeah.
Not Boeing.
Yeah. No, Boeing's great. Boeing's great.
Boeing's fantastic.
Yeah, but Lockheed Martin is an absolute sure thing. So it made sense.
Right about here is where a lot of the Starliner drama started unfolding.
Yeah. But the same thing. So like somebody like, and like it's selling. And
how's Northrop Grumman's a rock, bro?
Damn, it is a rock.
Oh, they're up in the last month.
Wow. What a big spike from July. Dude, I get how people are so involved with stocks, because like stocks to me,
it's gambling.
It is.
It's literally gambling.
Yeah, but it's but it's also, it's like, even like, I think it's like, if you know football like no
well, just like with real gambling, you can
like,
count cards. If you're financially literate, it's the same thing.
Well, I know, but I mean, counting cards is only in blackjack, but still,
it doesn't apply in poker. You can't figure shit out in poker either.
I guess you're right. No, I guess you're right. I guess people don't.
I don't know.
People don't count cards. I think poker has
blackjack for sure though. You're
but
right.
yeah. But but that's what. But just for what it is, like I think that the stock market is similar to like sports in general. Like people who like bet on sports, like they can look at the whole lay of the land and they kind of tell how things are going. And I think that's why people get so obsessed with like fantasy football, because they're like, hey, this GM just got traded. You have no idea what kind of uproar this is going to be for this team, and at this time, like they're going to do all these shit. I know this guy hates this guy. He was just traded from here. This guy started out in college with this guy, and he's coming here. And
the
like
Japanese central bank just raised interest rates. You have no idea what this is going to do to the rest of the
yeah,
market.
Exactly. Yeah, and that like these other like nations have these things going on in different relationships, and like you can
fantasy
see
football is still gambling.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's addictive.
100%. No. You're right. It's all gambling. I'm just saying that like as I'm dipped my toe into like the stock exchange a little bit, just in like, cause like, dude, like I've thrown some money in the stock market, blah blah blah. But like I don't know what it's doing. I'm just like I just put it in there. You know what I mean? Like it's just in there.
I think I have a couple Apple stocks, and I'm just hanging on to them to see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. You buy them early, but yeah, so. I'm just saying, like, I get the appeal because it just, as I'm looking at this, and like to me, I feel like the world news seems more interesting to me as far as like if something happens in this country, like this happens, like what's the winter gonna look like if they have a war, or if they don't, if these people get in, this happened, and like it's just this whole thing where like you just never know what's gonna happen next, and you just kind of have to pivot and. So I get it. So if you're in a stock market and you're having a good time, you're having your fun, getting after it, I get it. I get why you're into it. Like, it's a full-time job. Yeah. But, yeah. No, it's crazy. And also just they learn about carry trades. Learn about like the stock exchange, like being able to like use money from one country to invest into stock markets into another country is
I think most of that was just driven by the fact that the loans were so cheap.
But I know. But I mean, who cares why? It's like, dude, it happened.
Yeah.
And it's been happening for 15 years. And like that has like, and like it doesn't like, again, it doesn't matter why. But it's like, dude, that's all the money in the GDP. Like if that fails, which it did, like that's what happens. And like luckily it rebounded. But I honestly, I would love to know like what happened with Japan as far as how they pivoted, because like we just learned before we sat down, because we wanted to pull this up for you guys who were listening to like, hey, what happened? But like, I mean, and you don't have to like try to like come up with like some kind of answer now, but like, dude, like we're pivoting right now, knowing that it bounced back, because like I was in this full state of knowing that like Japan was going to crumble, and I want to go to Japan so bad. I don't want things to go bad for Japan. I'm like on all causes. I just want Japan to be good.
Does Japan have like a NASDAQ or a Dow Jones that we can just see like the overall health of the market? I mean, I'm assuming this little chart here might have been it, and it did drop, but it came back.
Yeah, I would say that chart's pretty accurate, because that looks exactly like a crash. And it looks like 12% down and 10% up, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they have a Dow Jones or a NASDAQ or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think I also learned that like NASDAQ is like literally like just accounting for like all the tech.
I thought NASDAQ was...
We need to get Kevin back on here.
Yeah, we need someone financially literate.
Kevin, if you're listening, brother, I'm going to call you. Yeah, dude. But either way, it's yet again another interesting time to have lived through, no matter what. Obviously it probably didn't affect you. We're looking forward to September. September, the Fed meets again to discuss federal things.
How to fuck over the American people.
Well, sure, but there's a lot of accusations that would say that traditionally speaking they won't lower the interest rates again on a meeting.
Do it. Fucking do it.
Fucking get. Yeah, but Yeah, so if they do, I don't know. I'm not sure. They might, but most people think that they generally don't. Let's get a cheers to interest rates being lowered. Yeah, we sorely need interest rates lowered, and unfortunately, it was at the expense of the Japanese stock exchange. So whatever, but.
No, we need them to
But they
build more houses so I can buy one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've said our piece about BlackRock and housing markets and stuff and the true issues, but we'll see. Hey, man, maybe you build your own house. Ever think about that? What do you think about building your own house?
I need to see the cost. I mean,
So,
from what I
you know-
understand, it's cheaper than like if you were to have two houses identically sized, basically.
Yeah.
Same features and all that. If you had it built yourself, it's like cheaper than.
You know, I have a friend who I like don't talk to. We're just friends on Facebook. I think we went to high school or something together, and they had just posted like a little update about their house that they were building. And I don't know them enough. I'm certainly couldn't get them to talk, but I would love to talk to them just on like getting some info. And if I could like put anything out there to people, or especially give it to you, on like what that looks like. But the post was saying that they were still like well under $200K to build the house of their dreams.
Yeah. The other thing though is
Who's gonna give you that loan? Who's gonna give you that loan? I just need $250,000, and I'm
pretend it's a
gonna
mortgage.
build a thing.
just pretend it's a mortgage.
Yeah, you're gonna have something when I'm done. Don't worry.
But the other thing is like if you buy a plot of land, you got to get utilities run out to it and all that, and that's like $50,000-$60,000 by itself.
Yeah, and you know, obviously you'll save a lot of money by doing like a septic and a well, and then just running basic electricity to the house. You know, figure out cable on the back end.
I just have to get Starlink.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, dude, it actually didn't cost me anything to get Verizon out here, and it took them.
Well, you're in a somewhat built-up area.
Dude, it took them 3 days. They were
You're
like,
still in a somewhat built-up area. They probably have cable run or fiber run out to here. They just haven't run to your house yet.
yeah, 100%. That's what it was.
But like if you're buying a plot of land in bumblefuck nowhere,
why do you want to build? You don't want to live in Bumblefuck.
I don't like people.
You're like me.
I like you, but I don't like people.
Yeah, live near me.
Well, I mean, you said your neighbor was thinking about selling.
Dude, you see that house on the street?
No, I did not.
They're still working on it. I feel like they're working on it slowly, which is weird.
Stop working on it. I'll buy it as is and finish the work myself.
You should try. You should try.
I don't know.
You never know.
Address, and the house is probably not on the market yet.
Something down there. It's not on the market, but that's the thing is like you get a realtor, you're like, yo, get to talking to those people, you know. But dude, if you're gonna do that, like I feel like
If they're a flipper, then
you need cash, and like you got cash, but you don't have like you can't just be like they're like, hey, like do something like this. We're gonna need like 30%. Or like we need 40%.
Yeah, no, I ain't got that.
Yeah, dude.
I got like 5%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to
But-
think, like back in the day, the standard used to be 20%.
I know. Which is because we were cash rich. We were living. God damn it.
Yeah.
What happened? Don't answer that.
Anyway, let's end this on a happy note.
Let's end it on a happy note.
You're rebuilding your diff.
Oh, yeah. So if anyone who follows me and knows me closely, I have bought a S14 240SX 1995. I'm going to be building a channel with Adrian. I don't know if you already knew that you're going to be included in that. Adrian's going to have to be included in that. I'm going to start.
You already recorded me a little bit.
Well, yeah. So if you're still listening and you're watching now, you're gonna get the sneak tip. So I bought a Nissan 240SX. It's a 1995. It's an S14. It's beautiful. It's great. It's rusty, old, and terrible. No, it's fun and it's gonna be a fun time. I'm gonna do a lot of work to it. We're moving into the fall time. It's off season. Technically, I'm getting a jump start. I'm gonna have a fun time just taking the car apart, making it really good, and just doing my best. Put the elbow grease in and just making the car sound. And the idea is we're gonna drift it. I'm back. I'm going drifting again. So should be a fun vlog. I'm hoping to get Adrian involved as well.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing that has kind of been unsaid is we might be working on expanding like some of the content we do beyond just the podcast.
Yeah.
Just record some of the misadventures with all the car shit we do.
Yeah, well, you're over here.
So,
but
you know,
yes.
Keith is going to be rebuilding the differential on his car so that
Yeah.
he can weld it and have, just have a drift car.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I've got my differential issues with the Buick. I have a bearing I think that's gone bad. Sounds real good.
Yeah, and so there's two different perspectives of differentials going bad. Where like I have an LSD that I need to transfer to an open diff so I can get it welded, and that'll be fun. I have to take the innards out of mine, or take the innards that I bought and put it into my differential. It'll be fun adjusting valve lash, getting everything
Not
all
valve
adjust
lash.
or
Backlash.
Well, there should be a video on valve lash as well. So I did do that, and I have more
Still
to do
doing.
on valve lash. So valve lash will be coming too. That's as far as engine head work. So tons of fun stuff. So this podcast has been fun, and we're slowly evolving into like just kind of
General content.
yeah, videotaping. Well, really, just videotaping our car stuff. Because like now we're just so good at doing video stuff and audio that we can.
So good.
Yeah, dude, we're the best now. That we can now do vlogs. We want to do vlogs and just kind of keep up with like the little car stuff that we do. We don't do anything crazy, but like we're just kind of starting out. And I don't know. I think it would be fun. Like I'm doing this stuff, and I wish that someone else had done it before me. Because there's tons of videos out there, but like there's not enough videos on like specific things, and so I think it'd be fun. It's not a how-to, but it's like a follow along, and like this is what I did.
Feel free to flame me when I do something
feel
wrong
free.
inevitably.
Yeah. So the comments will be open, and they will not ever be. Well, I mean, I guess YouTube will take down what they want, but I'm not gonna take nothing down. So.
I ain't taking down shit.
I ain't taking down shit. So it should be fun. And so you got that differential thing going. So we can
I mean,
just
it's an
on a
axle
bearing.
bearing, but I gotta yank the axle out of the
Yeah.
diff.
So
Pray it's not the differential because
Yeah.
I might have a limited slip. I'm not 100% sure. The exterior of the case looks like it's an LSD, but it doesn't behave like an LSD. When it's in the air, you just kind of spin it, and the other one spins backwards. It's like, oh, it's an open
Yeah.
diff. But then, I did a burnout, and I thought I broke something, and it was just locked up, and then it unlocked itself, so it's acting like an LSD. And then whenever it's rainy and I'm driving the car, it definitely spins both back wheels because the back end's just going sideways. So I don't know what's going on back there.
Yeah. So this is going to be a fun adventure, is what we're saying. And,
But yeah,
and
either my differential blew up or I have a bad bearing, and I'm really hoping it's the bearing because you cannot find parts for this rear end.
Yeah.
Open or LSD.
Yeah. But we're
Wish
gonna
me luck.
Yeah, we're gonna film it all. So it's gonna be fun. It's our new segment to the podcast. You'll find all the videos here. So if you're interested, don't worry, you'll find them. I'll post them, figure it all out. But it's gonna be fun. And so I bought an S14. So keep an eye out for that. And more to come. And I haven't even posted about it, to be honest. I got to make a little post and tell the homies.
Once a year Instagram post.
Yeah, so if you don't follow and you're just following along, you guys heard it here on the podcast, here at the end, the fucking long-ass podcast. So
This one wasn't that long, but we're pressed for time. We've been on night shift. Our schedule's fucked.
Yeah. So, cool.
All right.
Good ending. All right, well, if you made it this far as well, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps us so much. Appreciate it. And
See you in the next one.
good night.
Baby, let me take you for a ride. It's crazy that we on the same vibe.